tutorial on a death counter. I'm gonna start, I'm gonna right click in the blank space, add action. Add action here on the left. I'm gonna name it death counter. I click always run. I'm gonna make sure mine's not on a group. Okay. We're gonna want it whenever this death counter command is triggered, or this action is triggered. We are going to globals, set variable name, death count, increment it by 1 for globals. We're using get and set here. Set is the first one, get is the second that we use. Death count. So it's pulling in the death count variable from wherever it's being stored, and we're bringing it into this action as death count. So that's the destination also. Default is going to be 0. We're going to want to make a text. Add a text GDI input in OBS and name it death count. Or name it like big letters if you're gonna have trouble finding it. So you can change whatever you want about the size of it. I will just fill it in right now just so it's easier to see, but this will auto populate in Streamer.Bot. Make it like red, right? I would make it like a more bold font. Okay. There's our death count. We have it named death count, so we're gonna go back in here in Streamer.Bot and then OBS, sources, set GDI text. This will change the text in OBS. And then we make sure we find the right one. Death count, and we're gonna do %. Death count, that's all it is. The variable that we created before, death count, %. And before this, we'll even add deaths. Just do up here, if you ever want to test your sub action and you don't know what to key it to yet, you can just do the for test. And then when we right click this, we can hit test. So maybe it's at 1. Oh, there it goes. 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to tie this to a command, right? In chat, maybe for the mods to use. So we'll go to the command tab here at the top, right click, add. You fill in the command here, death. Clicking here so the mods can only use the command. So now that we have command death here, we'll put a cooldown on it so that, you know, 2 mods type it at the same time or something. It doesn't double at it. You can do whatever cooldown you want. I'll do 15 seconds. And then we'll do here for commands, command triggered up here in the trigger area. Then we'll go find the command, death. Okay. So now if somebody types death in the chat, it should go up. It does go up. Let me just, over here, I'll put the death counter in a group called death counter. We'll add another thing to the death counter group here. We'll name it minus death counter minus. So this will be, we'll make a new command. You can even just go here for commands, command triggered. And you can create a command directly from here for death minus. I like death minus for whatever reason. Death will allow only mods to do it. Go to the first one and copy this get global one, control C it, and then here and control V it. That'll get the global thing, and then we will, what am I thinking? Globals set. The global increment is death count. We are going to decrement it by 1. This way, if anyone does a false add or whatever, you can change it on the fly. Just death minus. You know, death minus is kind of weird, so you can go in here, and if you do other things like minus death, wrong death, you know, subtract, whatever you want. If you want to put it on like a key or something, you can also do core. This is the original death counter. Right? So you can do core, hotkeys, hotkey press, create hotkey. And then you have all these keys on your keyboard you can use. Oh, you can even do like control 9. That'll make it go up. And I'll copy that hotkey press for the minus. And then I'll make it control 0. Boom. Now when I hit the hotkeys, it goes up and down. Control 0 is not working. Oh, it's not updating the OBS text. Okay, let me make sure I copy that over exactly. There we go. This one decrements, this one increments. Boom. Should work now. Deaths. You can make it like fade away after 30 seconds of no death or something. You did want to make it fade away. Good trick for transitions in OBS is to right click on your element, and the hide transition is the transition that it's going to do when it hides. When you hide it like this, boom, yeah, it fades away. Show transition will also do a fade, so it fades in. So now it has an animation for when it shows and when it doesn't. Okay, OBS sources. We're setting the source visibility state here. Hope you can see that, yeah. Set source visibility. And we're gonna find the death count here. Or you can just type in death count, type in the name of your OBS source. We're gonna toggle it to visible. And we'll put that on both of these. So whenever you add a death or chat adds a death, the death count will show up. Now I'm gonna trigger a little timer for how long it stays up. So I'm gonna go to settings, timed actions, right click, add. Name will be death count fade. And you can put spaces on that. I'll just put spaces. We're gonna leave it disabled, it doesn't repeat, and then 30-second fade on it, so it'll stay up for 30 seconds after you're done. That should work. And we'll make one more action here. Add fade timer. Up here we will timed actions, core timed actions, and death count fade. So whenever that's triggered, whenever the cooldown, you know, the time passes for the timer, so we have to trigger the timer. So death counter here, or timers, set timer state enabled. Wait, my fart reset timer, wrong one. Death count fade. We'll copy this in both and then I'll explain. This whole process here is ending with this timer. It'll start the timer. Timer will tick for 30 seconds and then it'll go to here. And then we just need to toggle the source visibility state to hidden. Cool. So once that timer triggers after 30 seconds, it'll fade. LOL. Okay. we're gonna just make a disable for the timer here. I copied the other one and then I changed the setting to disable. It has to disable before it gets enabled, or else the timer will never reset. It's not fading, guys. What did I do wrong? Oh god, what did I actually do? I didn't choose the death counter. Do better than me, guys. Death count. Jeez. Oh, there it goes. It fades. Okay. And then if I add to it, should come back up. It fades in. All right. This will be like the quick recap of everything, or maybe just a quick tutorial version. All right. So we're looking at the final death count command here. We have created the death count source in OBS. And what's triggering these actions is the command death will add 1, or death minus will subtract 1. We did that by adding commands here. These two commands, death has a 15-second cooldown, so people don't, you know, double add a death or something. All right. So once those are triggered, it goes down here. We set the death source to visible. That's the first step. We increment the global death count, you know, going up. We get that same variable that we just increased so that we can put it in the text here. This also starts a timer, so it'll fade away after 30 seconds. We have to disable and enable the timer so that it runs and does its thing. The minus action over here is the same exact thing, except it decrements by 1. It minuses from death count by 1. And then this is the fade. So when the timer goes off, this death count fade timer here, it triggers this action, which just hides the text visibility. We set the fade on the text, show transition fade, hide transition fade. So when it shows up and goes away, it just fades in, fades out. You can do it whichever way you want. Oh, resetting it to 0. I think you can, if you don't want it to save between runs or something, it's gonna save if you have this persisted thing. If you unclick this persisted, it'll reset whenever you close the stream, whenever you close the StreamerBot. I guess I'll just make a death count reset, and we will just, okay. We have death count reset selected, core, commands, command triggered, create command, death reset. Reset. Only mods can do this, right? Global set variable name. Death count. Set it to a value, we'll just set it to 0. Boom. I'll also add like a test up here. So if you just want to come into StreamerBot and right click this and test it, it'll reset your death count to 0. We can also just do the same thing as this one, where we make it visible. Goes visible, it changes the text, and it starts the timer. Bam. Bam. Okay. Cool. So whenever death reset is triggered, it will also. Ooh. We need this get global. Sorry, guys. So here's the reset command. The reset should just set it to 0. Boom. I think that's all I got. Do a quick. You guys want to pause and copy these exactly as they are. And then timer down here when it runs. Yeah, and then commands, we have these death commands here. But yeah, that's it. Enjoy. You can organize it how you want, change the font how you want. That's all I got.